Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Happy Halloween. I am recording tonight so that I can go trick-or-treating with my little candy monsters. So I didn't want to give up the meeting. I didn't want to miss a week. So thought I'd try it this way to see if you guys are okay with this. And if you are, please feel free to offer me feedback. You can email me, you can text me, however you usually communicate with me. And I'll also follow up next week just to see how this felt, what this was like. So if you are watching this Connecting for Recovery tonight, my hope is that you'll listen to the topic. And at some point, if you have coffee or a text chat or a meet up with another fellow traveler, that you consider that part of your connection and your meeting. I consider me and one other person or one other fellow traveler as a meeting for me. So permission to expand those definitions for you too. Last week, we talked about the difference in help versus support, as well as how to stay in recovery when I have a loved one who's not, or maybe if a loved one's pathology is affecting my recovery. I want to talk about the other end of that this week. I did mention a little bit last week what it was like trying to support someone who's being unsupportable. And I'm pretty sure that's not a word according to Webster. However, it's a word for Amber. So another Amberism there. But I don't want in any way for this to feel like I was only talking about the supporting person last week, and I wasn't talking about being unsupportable, because I want to talk tonight about how that shows up for me and what it looks like when I am unsupportable. My hope is that my experience or sharing how this shows up for me, that it might color in for you what yours may look like. I don't feel like anyone, just because we're in recovery, it doesn't mean that we're safe and we're good. It just means that more than not, I have the gift of self-awareness to be able to identify something as a problem or is not working for me. So my unsupportable behaviors definitely still show up, as I am not exempt from this lifelong recovery process that I get to do. And I just want to share that to see if your pathology looks like my pathology. And I'll also place it on a continuum. So just because this is how mine shows up, if yours doesn't show up that way and it shows up the opposite end of the spectrum, then I'll color that in a little bit too, because what we know is when it's all or nothing, black or white, pendulum swing, usually the outcome is the same. So when I am stressed, frequently what it looks like is I'll do it all. I'll take care of everything. I won't ask for help. I won't allow for help. I'm in this imaginary world where it feels like if I pull off the impossible, then I'm going to get this gold medal. And what happens is I never pull it off because my expectations are incredibly unrealistic. And I never get a gold medal, which pisses me off too. So when I'm supportable, it usually looks like one of my kids' birthday parties. I'm hosting a family holiday meal, or even maybe a holiday party for my company, for my team. And what happens for me is I am a procrastinator and a recovering perfectionist. So the picture, the ideas that I develop in my head usually are not very realistic, nor do I have the time to plan, organize, or order things for that kind of get together. So I end up because I procrastinate, in a dopamine game with myself where I wait until the last minute for things. I do it all myself. I do it myself. I do it myself. And the reason I do that is because to me, I sound like a toddler. I do it myself. I do it myself. Um, versus a 43-year-old woman. So when I'm in this, it's ruled by fear. It's ruled that I'm not going to do it good enough. Excuse me. It is this idea that if I don't do it good enough, then someone's going to be mad at me, or I'm trying to prove to myself that I can do all of these things, even though I'm not in a state of logic, because I'm in a state of pathology. Prefrontal cortex is off. And my logic is the one that would tell me, none of this is realistic to begin with. And there's no fucking gold medal. So in the moments of controlling and I do it myself and unrealistic expectations on myself, big things that I want to point out when I'm being unsupportable is I'm not having fun. I'm not in connection. It's not enjoyable. I never reach the expectations that I put on myself, and it never looks like the way I want it to look. Big things that are missing during this process of being unsupportable are guidelines. There's no guidelines. No guidelines with me and anyone else, but more importantly, there's no guidelines with me. One of the first one that goes out the window is kind, honest, and respectful. And I know that because I know that as a woman in recovery, I enjoy doing things in connection with safe people. Big word. And when I start saying I do it myself, or when I start making assumptions that nobody can do it right, or it'll take me longer to explain it to them than it'll take me to do it. When I start having those type of thoughts that keep me disconnected from those that love me better than I love me at times, and keep me disconnected from me, and I'm ADSing, always doing shit, and there's no enjoyment in that. There's no connection in that. There's no recovery in that. Because basically I'm just perpetuating my perfectionism. So as a result, mentioning the guidelines, that's also the tool for tonight. One of the things I notice when my pathology is stronger than my recovery is I'm very critical of self, which in turn makes me critical of others. When people are offering, I don't always notice the difference in whether they are my safe people or whether they are unsafe people. Because in my backstory, help is what was offered, not support. And when help was offered, it also had strings attached. So I would have a really hard time allowing help and then not having the emotional roller coaster after. I would really struggle with self-shame, self-sabotage, self-criticism, because the strings attached often took all the credit. So today, what I notice about when my pathology is stronger than my recovery, it's loud, it's critical. I struggle to notice the difference in safe people and unsafe people, and I just block everybody out. So guidelines help me to stay in my body, but they also help me stay connected to me. Because what I do know is I have a lot of safe people in my world that very much want to support me. I have a problem with being supportable at times. And that doesn't look, being unsupportable doesn't always look like I want to fail. Being unsupportable doesn't always look like I'm going to relapse with a substance or a behavior. Being unsupportable is part of my backstory. It's part of, I need to be independent. I need to be super responsible because I can't trust or expect anyone else to do for me what I do for me. And there's only a tinge of that that's true. So today, when I'm unsupportable, I know that my pathology is really strong. And it usually is based in that bottom of Maslow's hierarchy where I'm hungry, angry, lonely, tired. And I'm struggling to ask for what I need, which is another guideline. So if this shows up for you differently, oftentimes that looks like, for me, I do it myself and I try to be superwoman. But the other end of that spectrum is shutdown. Maybe I don't want to celebrate because I've convinced myself that celebrating is pointless. Or maybe I don't want to celebrate or I don't want to participate in these things and I shut down because in part of my backstory, there was always a really bad consequence. Nothing good could happen unless something bad happened. Or maybe it was never celebrated or it was never mentioned because no one was ever there. So regardless of which end of the spectrum, all or nothing, that my unsupportable behaviors show up, it gives the same outcome. I'm still not in connection with me and me. I'm still hurting and perpetuating the same dysfunction that was a part of my backstory a long time ago. So today, what I know is I know who my safe people are when I am using guidelines with me. I'm able to ask for what I need. I'm able to be kind, honest, and respectful to myself. And I'm also able to stay in connection. I'm able to enjoy what I'm doing. Sorry, my dogs are being late. Rather than feeling like I need to receive the Nobel Peace Prize or Achievement Award. So I hope this was helpful for you. The tool, again, is guidelines. And if you haven't covered that with your therapist yet, please, please, please take that to your next session. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope you have fun with any candy monsters that come to your neighborhood. And I'm out having fun with mine. So I'll see you guys next week. Take good care. Bye.